Patrick Smith. Patrick, live in the studio. Let me get you up here. I think that's the same mic. Say something for me.
Hey, Paul. Glad to be here. How are you today?
I'm doing better now after the quick trip to the 45-minute interview, and it leaves you.
I listened to the interview on the way in, and very good job.
Well, thank you.
It was an interesting interview. Good with the follow-up questions. So.
Well, this will don't expect anything like that for this. So,
darn it!
Talk to me about. Let me introduce you first off. What is your? And I was doing this the other night talking about you actually. Green Bicycles. Are you owner, proprietor, chairman? What is your role there? What is your title?
I guess I'd be all of those. I started a company about. I don't know, it's 3 or 4 years ago now here out of Crescent City. I was at a Parkway Feed. I had a organic garden center, and I developed a product that sold really well. So I decided to register it and get a label and sell it in other places.
You started out just basically selling your stuff on spec at Parkway Feed?
Yep.
Wow, I'll be darned.
That's right.
That's great. And so now you've got your own business and drawing a little water in the industry?
I do. Yeah, it's actually working out really well. We make a lot of product. I have a partner who is in the mixing business, so he actually mixes the product and packages it and ships it. So it's all kind of on autopilot at this point. And
everybody's going, what product are they talking about? You make soil emendations and plant food, right?
I do. I make an amendment and a dry compost tea mix. For pretty much the cannabis industry is where the bread and butter is in my business.
And people have asked me because they see and we talk about it and they hear the where did Green Bicycles come from?
Oh, I wish I had a good story for that because I get it asked all the time. I guess it's good that you ask so you remember it. But I used to teach high school over here at the high school, and there was a time where I wanted to build a frame. And have a bicycle company. And I did a design, but my eyes kind of got old as I did.
Yeah, I know how that goes.
The brazing's real color. You need a lot of color, so I couldn't really braze anymore. So it just fell by the wayside. I had some graphics, and when this company came around, I said, you know what? I have something here.
So it was because you basically had like a name and graphics just laying around, and you go, okay, I'll use this. Okay,
That's
good.
Right.
So people are asking.
I'm lazy.
No, you're resourceful.
Okay.
So the people are probably wondering, why is this guy? You are the man behind the, would you term it wildly successful, California, Oregon, Jefferson State Cup and Cannabis Expo?
Wildly successful. I think it was a good show. The feedback I got was very positive. Yeah, actually, I don't think it was wildly. If there was 30,000 people, then we're talking wildly successful. I think we had 1,200, 1,000 people come, which in the middle of January wasn't a big deal. People from Fresno, Sacramento made it up.
I'll be darned.
I think a person or two from Portland. So we got a few cars in the parking lots in town, which is a good thing.
Yeah. How about the now during the? Well, that's a question. We'll get down. Question was, I'm just going to go ahead and jump to it. See, here's you were lauding my interview skills, right? Here we go. People taking part of the shuttle service? Were you able to get people around to other businesses?
That one wasn't a big hit.
Really?
No, I was real surprised. Yeah, hit and miss. That was a miss. I think maybe 10 people used the shuttle.
I'll be okay.
So you try things. Maybe that'll work out more in the future with the better advertising and get more businesses on board to want to be a shuttle stop.
It might say something too about people wanting to stick around at the fairgrounds and see all that was going on out there.
Yeah. Actually, we did. I tried to make it a real worthwhile show, and I was happy with that. A lot of smiles when people walked out.
Yeah.
If they made it. The signage was not real good, but if they made it to all the 3 buildings, they should have been pretty happy when they left.
So if you can, I know we did this before, but tell us about the 3 buildings. You filled the main building with vendors and presentators and such?
Yeah, we had vendors, and that's where we had live artists. That's where the belly dancers and the hula hoopers, and we had some glass blowers and live artists working, and vendors from various parts of the industry were also there. I think the highlight of the show was it was way out in the poultry building, and I call it the organic experience, where they could actually go in, get a container, get some fresh soil, mix some of my Green Bicycle Ocean Bounty flour mix into their container, and get in Humboldt Seed Company, which is a very well-known genetic company for cannabis seeds. We're providing some of their very best seeds, so since they could actually grab a seed, plant it, and water it with some Happy Endings tea mix by Green Bicycles, and actually walk out with a little potted potted seed. So
that's crazy.
That left a lot of smiles.
Any idea how many people walked out with the potted seed?
That's a good question. I don't know what the percentage is, but a large percentage of the people, once they found out and they went through it, they most all walked out.
So you could technically leave with a.
That's a good question.
Wow,
that's a very good question.
I'm wondering if how many just little sprouts there are just around the county in the region now.
I don't know. I hope a few more.
That's good.
I hope a few more. But yeah. Well, let's.
And you wanted to shout out to. Okay, so I'm sorry. I was in the poultry building. Tell us about in the arts and crafts building. Was that the third building?
The arts and crafts building was the third building, and that was for our speakers. And we also had a nice hemp museum where a lady came up from, I think it was Nevada City, with articles from the hemp production throughout the history of the United States, because it's been around. So they had rope and different clothing and cloth, and I didn't get a chance to fully explore it, but that seemed quite interesting. And that's where the speaker panels were. We had some. I can't memorize them all. I would like to give props to or credit to Ivan Minsall from the Chief of Police here in Crescent City. He actually showed up, was very generous with his time, very polite, and I was really glad he showed up.
Was he talking? Was he one?
Yeah, he was on a panel. I'm not sure. I didn't make his panel. I had a lot of things, fires to put out.
Yeah.
But he was there to answer questions, which I think was a real important part of the show.
That's fantastic. And then we were talking. We had Bob Berkowitz, Roger Gitlin were there.
Yeah, they were the two supervisors that showed up. I didn't get a chance to introduce myself. Just things happen quick, but no, I'm glad they came. I would like to get their what they thought about it.
There were some things on Facebook too. There was some, I think, just as Linda Sutter's, and Linda Sutter, of course, wrote the big glowing thing. That was the first thing I saw about it. Did not disappoint.
That was good, actually. That was impressive. And,
so. Future? Well, before we talk about future, let's wrap this up, because I wanted to ask you about the strain that won the cup. You handed out an ounce of gold, right?
I did.
The Jefferson
That was tough to do. Once you get the gold in your hand, it's hard to release. Yeah, I think that was the first time that's been done at one of these shows, but it was out of that one. The winner came out of Humboldt County. It was a place called Humboldt Gardens, and they have their own proprietary strains or genetics, and it was called Grape Calyx.
What?
Grape Calyx.
Calyx?
Yeah. Okay. Don't ask me what that means, because I'm not real sure. But
do you remember the spelling?
It's Calyx, I believe.
Oh, okay.
I typed it enough times.
That means something. I'll have to look that up.
Yeah,
Grape
I think it's
Calyx.
a part of a plant, flower plant, but God, my biology is missing me right now. Botany.
Yeah, there you go. See? Exactly. So they got the ounce of gold, the ingot of gold, and then it was 5 ounces of silver for second place? Yeah,
and that came out of actually a place called Millerville Farms out of Takilma, I think it is.
Oh, wow.
In Southern Oregon. They do it. In fact, I posted the top 10 winners, and they were they had 3 in the top 10, and they entered 3, so they do a really good job over there.
Wow,
obviously.
Wow, okay.
And the judging on that kind of thing is very subjective. I had them ranked 1 to 30, because there were 30 entries. So the best possible average you could get would have been 1 if everyone voted 1. So the lower the number, the better. The winner actually had an average of 5, which is.
How many judges?
Really, there was 36 judges.
Wow. Okay. All right. Cool.
So that was actually pretty well stood out. There were 3 that averaged around 8. So what I did is I had a second judging event for those.
Okay. All right.
To narrow it down to the winner, and that one was Millerville, something called Double DOG. I think I've heard Snoop Dogg might even have a song about that one.
Double DOG.
So he knows about that one, and it was. Very good.
So that's so what? Then we split then first and second place. It was California first place and Southern Oregon second place.
Yeah, we had entries about equal from both states, and judges were equal from both states, and we live in a hotbed area for very high quality products. There's no doubt about that.
All right, so it begs the question then: are you going to do an event like this again?
I would love to. I would love to doing 4th of July in this town, but we'll have to. It's kind of quick, but I'd like to put something together for the tourists to have something to do.
Yeah.
But we'll see how the wheels in motion. I think a lot.
Are you going to shoot for something this year?
I am.
Okay.
I'm kind of waiting to see where the county goes.
Yeah.
because this event could be expanded to include consumption. And those
or sales, right?
Sales and
commercial
consumption,
sales,
they absolutely can if sales are allowed in the area. So we're going to see how that goes.
And that could be. Are you thinking fairgrounds again, or some other place?
Yeah, we'll have to. Fairgrounds is a nice place to do it. That the infrastructure's there, the bathrooms, the parking, all that stuff's kind of set up, that buildings or tents or whatever. So fairgrounds is a nice place, and I don't think they do a whole lot on the 4th of July week. They haven't been.
Yeah, I don't think there's. I mean, you've got what they do, the farmers market down there, and that's happening high time right then. But yeah.
So I was thinking music, food, art, cannabis, that kind of work.
Wow, that could dovetail really, really nicely with the 4th of July.
Yeah, it could.
Yeah.
We could do an outdoor show. I'm working with a promoter in Oregon who has some, that's the music promotion is a whole nother animal, but I'm preliminary talking with seeing what we can do.
That's exciting. Things you learned from this event that you wouldn't do or would do differently for the next one?
Oh, a lot of little things. One of the big complaints was no one knew how much it cost to get in, which that's my fault. I guess
that's your fault. Huh?
That should be advertised. I'm learning. Signage could have been better. As far as people missing out on the organic experience because they just didn't know it was there. So there's a lot of little things, but next one will definitely be easier and better.
Yeah, that's pretty safe to say after having knocked one out like this.
It was a big learning curve, and I learned a lot of. It was a little bit of a business education and dealing with politics, and I was real glad I did it. You
have any thoughts about the current state of the county and cannabis and the ban and all the stuff that we just talked about?
It is interesting. It's what's going on. I know I've been to a lot of the working group or a few of the working group meetings, and I know Jesse Davis and the crew and Alexander. They've been thoughtful and putting some. And it's not easy work, especially when you have opposing sides. And it's not the smoothest and quickest thing to do, but I think they've been doing a really good job on trying to get things going. So it befuddled me a little bit. It seems it's hard to actually digest everything that happened, but it seems like it has been just taken off track for a little bit. But that's kind of a shame because I did see some progress happening at the meetings, and it was thoughtful. It wasn't, it's interesting. I think sales, though, I kind of get the feeling that should be, recreational sales should be one of the easier things to get through because it's kind of low-hanging fruit for taxes and regulation. It's pretty straightforward, and I think that's my opinion, but I could be wrong.
That's what the mayor, what Blake Inscore said when he was on, was that basically as far as the city managed to get a ban and to keep it in place while they work on ordinances, but he said for the city it's basically a liquor store. That's what you're setting up. So you just make sure it's not so close to a school. And it's not going to cause any other issues with surroundings. So
one thing that interests me is like up in Brookings. I don't know how many stores are, a dozen.
Yeah, I've heard so many numbers up there.
So it's a little tricky because it is a huge investment. So if you're going to make that investment and say the county says, we'll have 50 stores here, it's a bit of an exaggeration.
Well,
but it might not be such a good deal. But I think there's a fair amount of money that could be made tax-wise is from local and also out-of-towners that come through town.
So do you think and I don't know this, maybe from organizing an event like this, even if there's a ban in place, but will this window with the state in charge and there being no ordinances for Del Norte County and no ban in place, would it make it easier for you to put on an event like a 4th of July Cup?
That's a real good question, because one of the first things you have to do is get approval from the local jurisdiction, which I'm not sure what. So I'm not sure what box they would check.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what I just don't know, because I think it's what they get is a form from the state, kind of what I've heard, and then the county or the city or whoever says yes or no.
Yeah,
I'm just not sure how if there's no guidance from the county, I'm not sure how they would check that box.
As I understand it, the box is the person, or is this license, the issuance of this license, in compliance with the local ordinances in your county? And if you don't have any ordinances, then yes.
Okay, then at this point it could happen. And actually, I do have one of the licenses for a cannabis event organizer. So I from state of California, I can throw it if the local jurisdiction agrees upon it. That's part of the. process.
That's really exciting. I hope so. I hope
Yeah, I hope so,
would
too.
add a whole other. I mean,
And maybe you can make it this year.
I can make it this year because I try never. What?
We'll put it on your calendar earlier.
Put it on now. The 4th of July.
And looking back, we only had a couple of months, 3 months to really before we got approval to do the show. So in the short amount of time, in the middle of January, and 2 weather days on both sides. Were pretty brutal. I would say we did okay.
Yeah, right on.
So maybe 4th of July with all the bodies in town.
I think that's an exciting thing. It would even draw even more people to town, too.
That's what I hope.
Yeah,
so this might be the first name drop on that. So 4th of July, let's put it on the calendar.
All right. Well, I'm going to keep in touch and make sure make sure I know the latest as far as developments in that regard, because that's really exciting. That's really cool. And congratulations on the event and having so many people out there and learning and the future.
Thank you, Paul. I'll be glad to come back anytime and shoot the bull with you.
All righty. Thank you. Patrick Smith, owner, proprietor, chairperson, I don't know what else. He's in charge of everything at Grean Bicycles and, of course, put on the California, Oregon, we're trying to remember the whole California, Oregon, Jefferson State Cup. Or no, California, Oregon Cannabis Expo, Jefferson State Cup?
That's the original name, and then we switched it to the Jefferson Cup for insurance purposes.
For insurance of the Jefferson Cup. Look forward to the 4th of July. Thanks much, Patrick.